mind. They're gonna teach you time and words and nouns and verbs, all the things you learn before you hit your prime. Mother, they're gonna feed you lines on how to be the man to make the best you can out of lemons and a life of life.
Time to relax, kick back, and enjoy some drinks at Sunset with the Wise Guys. Here are your hosts, Paulie and Vinny.
All right, it is time for another episode of Drinks at Sunset with the Wise Guys. I'm J. Anthony McCarthy.
I'm Steve Sabo.
And we are two men of a certain age trying to make our way as actors and entertainers here in Los Angeles and Hollywood.
This land of la-la.
Indeed. And as has been our wont ever since we've been able to get into the studio and do it live, we have been bringing in guests, people who are part of the business as well and do different things in it. And tonight we have David P. Cronmiller. David Cronmiller.
Hello. Hi. Hey.
Welcome, David. Welcome.
It's great to be here. Hey, everyone.
We're glad to have you. So we're just going to kind of roll into things here. We do our typical thing of just basically telling you about our lives a little bit, what it's like to kind of make your way week to week as an actor in Los Angeles, trying to survive and, possibly get that, pull that brass ring and be part of something that you really want to be a part of, being whether it's a sitcom or a movie or whatever it may be. So
we talk a little bit about the entertainment industry and also what is going on in the world of entertainment.
Yep. So that's some of the stuff. As sort of is our little tradition here, I'm going to start things off with saying, Steve, how you doing?
Good, Tony.
Good.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Right.
So, how was your week? What was the week like for you leading up to this?
It was a pretty typical week. 7 days, a few nights, some mornings. Good breakfast food. Gotta love
good.
breakfast food.
Good.
Typical stuff. Day jobs going well. Got a couple of jobs going where I'm getting some spiffs on them. So
A little extra.
yeah, and
something.
the president of the company came by, and so he knows who I am, and I guess he's pretty happy. So that's good.
Excellent.
And also I got a gig going on. A friend of ours, Aaron Marsh, who does stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Also has helped us out on a couple of our web series.
Right.
We Picked the Winners with the Wise Guys.
And Roommates of the
Roommates
21st
in
Century.
the 21st Century. Well,
Yep.
his friend Maggie wants to cut a new demo reel. So she's got some scenes she wants to get shot. She reached out to me, and we're going to be doing it next week.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
If I'm available, if you need any help, let me know. So
I will.
And that's sort of typical about the way things work in this town. Like, the person knows somebody who knows somebody, and all of a sudden they go, hey, wait a minute, I know somebody who can do that thing.
Right.
And let's call them.
It's building relationships and hopefully staying connected, and as well as when you got something going on, you want to include as many people as you know that you like and you can work with, and
that you trust to
that
work
you trust,
with. Yeah.
exactly, and because of that, typically you get a good outcome. You get either a good scene or you get a good sketch, or and you're having fun at the same time. So that's the way to do it.
And that's something actually that David and I can attest to with our experience with some of the stuff too. Is it's amazing how quickly you understand how you want to have the people around you that you can trust to show up and do the good work. So go on. This is about you right now, not about me. So
I'm done.
You're done? Okay. All right.
What?
That's it?
That's it. I mean, that's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. That's
No,
it. And I like the idea that something's happening like that. I'm glad that you're going to be shooting the thing with Maggie. She's in good hands, and it's going to be fun. So, good.
Yeah, just ODing on Castle. Other than that, I'm okay. How about you? What's your week been like?
Well,
friend?
it's been another kind of limbo-ish week for me because of the health things that have been going on, which I'm really, for the first time, feeling like I see light at the end of the tunnel, which is fantastic. Considering all the stuff that's happened to me is really temporary. It's going to go away. It's like compared to some of the stuff that I hear about my friends and families dealing with, and I'm just like, I shouldn't be complaining. It's just when you feel sick, you're sick. The quadricep tendon is healing as well as it possibly can. I'm walking around with a brace on that lets me have a certain range of motion. I go see the doctors again next week for that to increase the range of motion. And starting after that, I should be able to actually start driving my stick shift, and I'll have mobility again.
Hey-o.
Yeah. Be able to actually get to shows and do things and get to auditions and all of that stuff, which is fantastic. The kidney stones, I saw a surgeon this week who pointed out to me that he can't see the stones on a regular x-ray, which means they're of a type that still may dissolve. And he told me that the medication I'm taking is good for that, and that he wants me to up the dosage, which is, it's cool. And the big deal, he said, by the way, just so you know, those kind of stones, if they dissolve, it takes 6 to 8 weeks. How long have you been on the medication? I don't know, about 3.5 weeks. He's like, okay, good, you're on schedule. So I don't see him again until July.
Nice.
They're gonna look at things, and if the stone is dissolved and or passed, they're gonna take the stent out, and they're gonna say, get the hell out of here, and it's gonna be done.
Well, let's hope you pass that Jagger.
Yeah, no kidding. And the
Make
other
sure you
thing
study
is,
for that
yeah,
test.
exactly. And the other thing that's fantastic is because you've been dealing with this for a while. It's been since May 4th that I've been having the pains and everything else. He said, I'm going to have you on the schedule. So if it is in there, we're going to go in and get it. It's just you're going to be done with it one way or another
Fantastic
that day. So
voyage.
yeah, exactly, pretty much. So from that standpoint, fantastic. I sent out an email to my managers and to my voiceover agent saying, psychologically, emotionally, I'm in a different place. I'm ready to roll. My managers wrote back and said, hopefully we can meet for coffee next week because they want to see what I look like. I've lost 40 pounds.
great.
I'm limping a little bit. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a sexy limp.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm flustered.
Marshall Dillon.
Yeah.
Marshall Dillon.
Matt Dillon. Holy mackerel. How many of you are old enough to remember
That's
that?
right.
As a
Men of a
reference?
certain age
Yeah,
know
exactly.
all about that.
But they want to see me so they can have an idea of what they can still pitch me for and everything else, and to be comfortable with knowing that I'm mobile and motile and all this stuff. The other just wonderful thing, I sent the email to my voiceover agent, and she said, so you're feeling good? You're ready for me to start sending you voiceover auditions again? I'm like, absolutely. Half hour later, she sends me an audition for a national campaign. So,
Beautiful.
and I mean, it's an audition. Who knows what's going to happen, but boom, just like that.
Yeah.
And I recorded it at home with my home equipment and got it out to her that day, and boom, I'm back in
Boom.
business, and, family's not worrying about me as much now, and everything that's just all that's good. So that's where I am, and I feel like I'm back in the saddle. And hopefully, as soon as I can drive, starting next week, I'm going to start helping out at my theater company because we're in the middle of the Fringe Festival. And my company and some of our friends, there's about 6-7 shows that I could work front of house on to help out that I wanted to do that I haven't been able to, and now I'll be able to. Get my way over and just find a parking place and get in there and help people out again. So that's where things are for me.
All right. Well, things are moving or progressing forward, which
Exactly,
is good.
yeah.
And that's what we need. We need to continually keep pushing the rock.
Yes,
Just keep pushing the rock up the hill,
the Sisyphean
and sooner or
effort.
later you'll get there.
Yes.
And
Sooner or
then
later it'll
the,
pass.
the nice thing about it, at some point you're going to be going downhill,
Yeah.
not uphill, because you'll be at the top.
Well, I
going
think I've been going downhill recently. Them
No,
trying
no,
to.
no. With the rock.
Remember to tuck and roll.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully the big deal is because of all the changes I've made in my eating patterns this last 45 days, I'm trying to continue that very, very carefully so that I can continue to lose weight and be healthy, So big changes in what I've done as a regular thing for the last 25, 30 years.
So give me a couple, maybe 2 or 3 that are working for you, eating wise changes.
Vegetables first in the meal.
I see.
Okay. And in
Now,
a
are
lot
you
of
talking
different ways.
about fresh vegetables that you're stir frying, or are you talking about frozen vegetables that you're boiling, or what do you mean by vegetables? Or are you just going raw?
Any of those.
You skewer
like
them?
I've done frozen vegetables that were done in a mix that I steamed and bird's eye vegetables and my roommate made a cauliflower soup. I hate cauliflower. She made a cauliflower soup that was done that she made sort of a curry out of it. It almost became a stew.
Right, right.
Oh my God, it was delicious.
Yes.
I just was like, I'm like, this is, and it was filling. And that's one of the big things. Soups, stews, things like that are very good when you're trying to diet for filling you up and getting you out the door. You know, it's like, okay. And because there's liquid in with the food, it sits there a little longer. It trickles into your system a little slower. And you're full a little longer, and so you don't go through as much. So vegetables first, lots of vegetables in different fashions. I've had huge salads, and I've gone ahead and put on fatty dressings. I'm not like I'm just going to put on a little. No, I put on some Caesar dressing. I put on some French
You gotta
dressing.
dress that salad.
And I've
nothing good naked.
still lost weight during this period of time. So vegetables first. Very the amount of meat compared to what I used to eat. Like I've eaten meat 3 times in the last 45 days.
Wow.
Today was the 3rd time I had a.
So where are you getting your protein?
I had a Costco hot dog. Getting the protein from some of the vegetables and from because some broccoli has a little bit of protein. It takes a lot, but the big deal was my roommate made a breakfast porridge out of whole grains. Out of
I hear about porridge too often.
yeah, but it's like oat groats, millet, barley.
What's in the bowl?
And yeah, exactly. And millet, barley, and brown rice. She poured different measurements of it together. Every one of those whole grains, if you get them whole, has a great protein profile. Quinoa, also quinoa.
Yeah, quinoa's
Quinoa has like 12 grams per serving. If you do it. All the rest of them have somewhere between 4 and 8 grams. So in a little breakfast, she made this, like she pours it all in a thing. She soaks it overnight, brings it to a boil in the morning, throws a bunch of cinnamon on it, and then tosses a small handful of raisins in it. And the raisins are just sweet enough that pasty grain crap that is there tastes good.
Yeah.
And so I've been getting protein out of that and a little bit of dairy products because I've been eating some cheese here and there.
Okay.
That's it. Now
But you've
I'm
done
going to
all
start.
this with very little to no exercise.
Yes.
So this has strictly been a diet, or
Not eating. Yeah, exactly.
losing
It's
weight
been
strictly been
through eating
your
properly.
diet. Yeah.
Exactly right. So when I can start moving, which I need to do, that's
Be a
one
bonus.
of the things.
Don't replace it. And
Exactly. I need to, and the doctor, even though the stones I have are uric acid, and you got to kind of watch animal proteins of all sorts, fish, eggs, meats of all sorts. He said, look, just keep it around 8 ounces a day. You're a big guy. You can do that. 8 ounces a day. It's this much. So like that means that if I want to go out and decide, all right, I'm out this place, I'm going to have a hamburger. I can have an 8-ounce hamburger as long as that's it. That's it.
Right.
Not a double patty, not a 12-ounce steak, not a this, not a that. And if I do the vegetables and do them first, and then have the meat, I'm covered. I'm covered. And so like today was the first day I've had ketchup in 60 days. I'm a ketchup-holic.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I mean,
You put ketchup on your ketchup.
yeah, I have done that. I've drowned fries. I had a Costco hot dog. That was the meat that I had today. I went to Costco
There's some
with a
healthy
buddy of
stuff.
mine.
That's some good eating.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. But this
I
is
would've
what
went
we
with-
had for
I would've
lunch.
went with the pizza, but that's me.
It was $1.50, and the pizza didn't appeal to me. Can you believe that?
I don't believe that
I
for a
just
second.
said pizza didn't appeal to me.
That's fantastic.
Pizza is
Wow.
something that it's one of my staples. The stomach I've got is pizza and Coca-Cola.
More for me.
Haven't had a Coke in 60 days.
That's encouraging.
great.
Yeah.
Because that stuff
I'm having a ginger ale, no phosphate. It's got sugar in it. I'm having a short ginger ale, And this is the second soda I've had in the last 30 days. You know?
Nice.
When the last week was, I had one of these.
There you go.
That's what my
That's
drinks
why.
at
That's the
Sunset
second
with the
one,
Wise Guys
right.
was. So no, and at some point in time, I'll have a bourbon and ginger. But right now, we're watching all that stuff.
Well,
but that's it.
I'm so happy for you because
okay.
I know what a struggle it is.
Yeah.
And what we've been talking about, just to say, I got to lose some weight. And,
Yeah.
and you're doing it, but you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's the best part about it.
And
None
I've
of
lost-
this craziness. I'm going to eat cucumbers for 30 days straight.
exactly.
Or I'm going to cleanse. And no, you're eating healthy, and it's your body's responding to it. And
Yep,
that's the
yep.
best thing about it.
And if anybody's looking at this tape right now and looking at me and they're going to go, he's still a fat guy. Yeah, it's true. That's how much weight I have to lose.
Yeah.
I've dropped 40 pounds
That's big time.
And, I got another 40 or 50 to take off, but I can do it slowly over the next 6, 7, 8 months, as long as I continue to eat right and start exercising again. So,
There you go.
So there we go. So this is where I am. This is where we're doing. This is what's happening. So
Before let's bring
let's talk about our guest for a second, but then we'll break for a commercial.
We'll break for a commercial, and David. You introduced me to David.
Yeah, David Cronmiller. We go back how many years now? It's over 10 years.
Yeah, 2001.
Was it 2001?
Yeah.
Really? That's when Frank Dern.
2001. Somewhere
Is that Frank Dern?
Yeah, Frank Dern.
Okay.
Frank Dern.
And I met him when you were doing Ann Boris.
Right.
And so why don't we take a quick break?
Yeah.
And then see if we can talk a little bit further with our guest, David Cronmiller.
All right.
Fantastic.
We'll be back in a moment.
Juggernaut sound. Juggernaut sound. Juggernaut sound. Juggernaut sound. Getting the word out about what is both now and next. Juggernaut sound.
Are you looking for professional search engine optimization for you and your business? Look no further. Announcing Keyword Search Pros. KSP has been optimizing sites for years and knows how to increase your website's visibility and ranking. Their expert team will take you step by step and get the best possible results within your budget. And the outcome is always more visitors and increased traffic. Stop by their website and sign up for a free Google AdWords evaluation. For complete information on search engine optimization and pay-per-click management, visit keywordsearchpros.com.
Seeking a home for your website and require managed...
Don't forget to subscribe to our iTunes podcast. Simply visit our shows page and select your favorite show, or search for your favorite show in iTunes.
All right, we are back with Drinks at Sunset with The Wise Guys. I'm J. Anthony McCarthy.
I'm Steve Sabo.
And our guest is David P. Cronmiller. Hey, David.
Hey, Anthony.
Tory Magazine has been reborn.
What?
New articles, new features.
I don't know if that's coming over the airwaves or what. Whatever. Okay. So, David, you and I go back to about 2001 is what we were just figuring out.
The Adventures of Frank Dern.
Frank Dern, you were trying to create a web series before anybody had really started doing web series. You recognized the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, I went to film school at USC back in the 90s and had a day job working at Sony Pictures in the DVD center back then. And so I was kind of aware of all the changes in the technology that was happening. I was aware of HD, and I was aware of how the internet was finally kind of catching up to what filmmakers and people wanted to do. So I thought, hey, let's do a web series. So we shot a pilot. It was 35 minutes long.
This is back in the 90s?
This is back in
this is 2001. Yeah.
2001.
Still, that's a lifetime ago.
Yes, it was a very, very long. It was a long time ago. I had hair back then.
You did?
I did.
Yeah.
I was skinnier.
God, I wish I could have pulled the pictures up, man. Like the pictures from when we were shooting on the set.
You had a little beard like around here.
Yeah, that was dark
and
black.
that's the first time I met you. I remember, we had written this thing, this pilot called The Adventures of Frank Dern, and put some friends of mine together, and we shot it on a video with director of photography Eric Yates Green, who's a great cinematographer that I got to work with a few times back then, and he shot it. And it was a 35-minute thing, but we finished editing it, and I remember I kept sitting in the post-production because we did the whole thing. We had post, we had a crew, we had a crew, and we shot, and it was a whole deal. We had actors, and
we got paid, which was lovely.
Not very much, but
not much, but it was
a little bit. That was one of the last times that happened.
You're like, this is great.
No. Yeah.
We get paid. We're doing what we love.
Exactly
it's
right.
2001.
Yep.
And then it goes.
But
down.
we finished this project, and there was not really a distribution avenue for content online at the time. They were doing short MPEG videos that were like 30 seconds long that you had to download or play on a progressive player or something. So the technology wasn't
player.
really there. Yeah, real player, exactly.
God.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I remember sitting in post, and we were doing some ADR, and I was watching the show, and I liked most of it, but there were some problems with it, and some problems in the writing, and I remember really liking these two particular characters, this character Vladimir and Boris, and you played Boris,
Right.
and they were just heavy henchmen,
Right.
kind of small characters.
We didn't even have any lines originally.
No, you had no lines originally. Alexander, who played Vladimir at the time, did, but you didn't.
I didn't have any lines.
In fact, it was just because of you that I actually wrote the lines in for you, because I was like, hey, this guy's great, so
Thanks.
I should throw him some dialogue.
Well, I still, one of my favorite things was like one of the first times we'd met, because I really hadn't talked to you or anything like that. We were shooting somewhere down on USC campus.
At the
and
Annenberg Center for Communication.
The scene was the two Russian bad guys. Frank Dern sees this from a distance, but the two Russian bad guys
Dick investigating a crime.
are carrying a body wrapped in a bag between them. Yeah. And we walked out, and you called, cut. Oh my God, this is the most boring thing. I can't believe I wrote this. Right?
Yeah.
He said, can you guys want to say something or something?
Just improvise.
Improvise something. Out. So we go back in there, and Alexander looks at me, and I look at him. I put the body over my shoulder. Alexander grabs a donut from the from the craft service table and just leads me out the door, just arrogant. Like this guy he's great at it, but just this arrogant guy. He's eating the donut. I walk out the door behind him, just bitching.
Yeah.
Why do you always get to shoot the body? I have to carry the body. Why do you know I'm on diet. Why are you eating donut in front of me? We go out. We're waiting for cut. We don't hear cut. We turn around and we see. Yeah, David and the crew are just all falling out around the camera.
No, it was funny. And the thing is, that scene, we stayed, obviously throughout the entire cut of the show. And then when we're in post-production, I'm watching him going, you know what? I like these two characters. These two characters are interesting. Everything else, not so much. So we dumped it. We ended up doing a second short film, a 15-minute thing, sort of to promote an idea of Vladimir and Boris.
The Adventures of Vladimir and Boris.
Yeah, Changing of the Guard is what it was called.
Yeah.
And then we had some problems in post. We had to kind of, walk away from that project. And then
years
later,
a long time.
Yeah, years and years later, I was unemployed in 2009.
As was I.
And my wife and I were both laid off. I had a job at a post-production house, and my wife was a teacher, and we both got laid off about a week or two apart. And at the beginning of the financial crisis, or right in the middle of the beginning.
Exactly.
And I think it was Valentine's Day. I was sitting on my couch, and I'm a CNN reporter. I'm one of those crazy people who went out with cameras back in 2008 during the election and stuff, and I got a lot of coverage doing that. I got 1 million page views over the time I've done it, and I've been seen worldwide and stuff. And I had shot a lot of them on this little still camera set on movie mode. And I'm like, you know what? We don't have anything right now. We have no money. Let's shoot something narrative on this little still camera set on movie mode, just to prove that you can, and to keep ourselves engaged. And who knows where it'll lead and what it'll turn into.
Canon SD600.
Yeah, the Canon SD600.
I remember that camera. Yeah,
And
we're proud of that camera.
And we pulled out of our drawer. I said, "What about we just resurrect these Vladimir and Boris characters?" The gentleman who had played Vladimir, we ended up not being able to sort of have him be involved in the project. So we changed it. We changed it to Thursday. We found out he was going to do it, and we had to sort of come up with something else. We had a shooting scheduled for the next week. We had an entire cast coming.
Right. People who had already said it.
And once you have a schedule set, you don't mess with it.
You were Mr. Production back there. You were on the ball, and all of a sudden it was a big change.
Yeah. And one day I sat down, I rewrote the entire script just around Boris. Mm-hmm. We dropped Vladimir and we called it and Boris.
Right.
They're on the screen.
Yep.
And from then on we and Tony was like, I don't know, you were worried that you were I wasn't sure if I could handle you told me you couldn't, you were worried that you weren't sure you could handle the lead in this show.
Right.
Because Boris is very much the sidekick in the old version.
Yeah, exactly right. And I was very comfortable being part of a duo.
Right.
But I was concerned. I mean, it's like I think I'm a good actor, and I worked very hard at it, and I've continued to improve through the years. But to be the one, thank you, man. To be the one carrying the load, I was worried. I really was worried. And on top of which, it was like the other thing that was funny was because of the way it all fell apart. I really was sitting at home going, "Oh, that's that. It's not going to happen." And you're calling me going, "No, we're still scheduled.
I don't take it's not going to happen.
Get up here." I was like, "Holy crap!" Okay.
If there's one thing you learn in the industry is no is never really an answer. There's always another way around it. There's always another avenue you can take. And
oh my God, did we learn that on this series?
Oh yeah.
Every time we had a problem, every time something didn't work right. A prop didn't work right. An actor didn't work right.
we had
Something.
some issues.
One of these things where a rewrite would happen, or we would have to do a workaround, and every single time the workaround wound up being better than what we had originally envisioned. Not the workaround itself, but the original scene that we had to change suddenly became a better scene, a stronger scene, a more dynamic scene every single time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing.
Well, it was a period where I was just willing to throw everything I had learned out the window and start fresh. I had gotten tired of feeling a little limited by some of the bells and whistles people think you have to have in Hollywood, and the crew size and all that. So I just, I was all about throwing things out and starting over.
Let's unpack that a little bit. What's the bells and whistles people think you need to have in Hollywood?
Well, people think you need to have a big crew. That you need to have a big budget.
Okay.
They think you need to have some kind of special skill set, and you kind of do need to know what you're doing a little bit.
Particularly with the lighting, particularly with the
lighting
lighting and
and
sound.
Lighting and sound.
Lighting and sound. But the reality is, if you have a good story and you have a good concept and good people who are talented, and we were lucky to have several people in the first season. Some really great people came on in the second season, the third season. People like Michael Proctor and Sarah Barton are amazing.
Steve Braun
in season 1,
and
who's
Emmy Colagato.
fantastic. Yeah, we had some great people. T.J. Storm in our season 3 and Todd
Ariel
Stashwick.
Hartman. Yeah, Todd Stashwick.
And the thing that I think that I actually started back when we were having all the trouble with season 1 and season 2 of Boris. We're not in the trouble when we were in the middle of releasing it and kind of trying to produce it, and we shot season 1 and season 2 right next to each other, right back to back. Season 1 on the SD camera, and season 2 on an HD camera. I wasn't going to do the SD camera forever.
HV30,
yeah,
Canon HV30,
it's a
right?
great camera,
Yeah,
and shoots 24 frames per second. And we got some clamp lights. We got for season 2, we had a little bit. We didn't have much sound for season 2.
No,
but I made an effort at the time, and I kind of knew I was doing this, but I wasn't sure what it was going to turn into. That Boris would be a show. Sort of a proof of concept, if it were, for people who have low budget limitations.
Right.
And in the middle of producing it, I remember turning to my wife and I think Tony, might have been in the room at the same time. Like, I was frustrated with my student loans or something. I'm like, I should do a show called I Went to Film School So You Don't Have to.
Right.
And years later, that's where I went to filmschool.com came from. That we also do now. And the whole point of the first 2 seasons of Boris was I'm only going to work with certain things. I'm not going to bring, because I have a lot of contacts. I can get a lot of equipment for free. I can get a lot of things for free. That's not a hard thing for me. I can get better cameras and all of that. But I didn't want to deal with the liability. I didn't want to have to. I didn't have a budget necessarily for insurance, for equipment and stuff. I had to limit a little bit of what I could do. But I could have gotten some things. But so I made an effort that in season 1 we're just using that SD camera. Season 2 we're going to go ahead use an HD camera, a prosumer camera that shoots at 24 frames. But I'm only going to use the camera mic. And we actually, I did that intentionally, and use the camera mic because I wanted people to be able to look back at the series and go, okay, so he used that for this. He didn't have this for that second season. Third season, we have a mic, we have better lights and all of that, and you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
But my whole theory of, at least my own personal theory, is that it doesn't matter the medium that you're shooting on. It matters what matters, or the screen you're watching it on. It matters is the story. Is the story compelling, and does it engage you and entertain you? And I think we did do that with and Boris.
I'm still very proud of it. For the people who want it. I mean, I know that they've got it up on the screen right now. Anybody wants to
AnnBoris.com.
Or YouTube/AnnBoris. You can see all the episodes up.
Is everything up now?
The first 2 seasons are up. The third season's in post production right now. We're actually trying to sell the show. We have a sales agent who's working on our behalf, and we're trying to sell the show overseas and maybe try to get some distribution here in the U.S. I'm an incredibly busy person, so trying to finish season 3, I do all the post-production myself.
I'd like to meet that sales agent.
Yeah.
I have a show I want to sell.
Absolutely. And his name's Jeff Goldman. He's a great guy, a good friend of mine.
Great.
And he, and what we're trying to do is sort of repackage the show. So I've gone through and re-edited. Season 3 was up for a brief period of time. I was changing composers, so we had to redo the show completely from scratch. So we took it down and put it back up, season 1 and season 2. But season 3 is 80% finished.
Nice.
There's a lot of the episodes are edited, but we've re-edited it to be a 22-minute show. Originally, it was a web series, and we were trying to find that perfect balance in the runtime for a web series, and it's hard to find.
Yeah.
I know you guys, probably struggled with this a little bit too. And is that people are like, oh, it should be 5 minutes or under, and they're like, well, you know what? People don't want that. They actually want you know, you look at Hulu and you look at all the shows on Hulu now, like Deadbeat and which is a great
they're
show.
22-minute shows.
They're 22-minute shows. So my sales agent said, re-edit it into a 22-minute episodes, and then maybe we can actually do something with it. So we haven't released season 3 yet, partially because we're wanting to see where we can take it from a business standpoint and see if we can get wider distribution. And I actually am even playing with the idea of starting the show over from season 3 as the first season, if that's what sort of, because I think it actually works. If you've seen the show, you've seen season 3. There's a lot of flashbacks.
There. I was there for it.
Yeah, you were there.
I seem to recall doing.
But Tony, you did amazing work on the show, and I'm always blown away by it. And you filled Boris with such confidence and such. I mean, people find him sexy and attractive.
Big fat bald guy with a graying beard, and people found me sexy.
Maybe it's the accent. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was very happy with that.
But really, really happy with the show.
The thing that's amazing to me is the little pockets of fandom that I have around, particularly in Great Britain. Mm-hmm. There's these little pockets. Now a lot of it is guys who like bears.
Yes.
There's a lot of I've got
Russian banner.
Yeah, I've got gay fans that are great. I mean, geez, they've been so supportive and some of them have reached out to me like on Facebook and stuff like that, and they've just all been respectful and nice and everything. And I'm like, thank you. I'm if I ever meet you, I'm not going to be much good to you because I'm not gay, but. Yeah. I'm so happy that you guys like me. That's fantastic. I'm just really fortunate. But it's very cool that's happening. I thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate that. So, so because of what you've done and because of what we've worked on and everything else, there was a long period of time where work was really tough to come by. It was with the economy and everything else. Yeah. And then you've managed to parlay a number of different things. Like you worked. Can I say you worked for you worked for Disney for a while again and helped them
I was on a. It's been interesting because when I was unemployed, I knew that I had to reinvent myself and I had to find a new direction for my career, and I had to take more ownership of it.
Right.
Rather than you're always waiting to be discovered, and that's not really how it works. You don't wait to be discovered. You go out and get discovered by working and working and working. So I knew that I needed to stay sharp, even if I wasn't working at a day paid job, and while I was waiting for a new gig. And I finally got a new gig at the Walt Disney Company for Disney Interactive Media Group for a project they were working on that's now offline. It's no longer online, called DisneyMoviesOnline.com.
Okay.
And for about 2 years, we had the site up, and what we did is we put, and I was, I was hired on a temporary basis at first to just test some videos, and then they brought me on full time. Somebody else left, and I ended up taking over for him and managing a department there. And I started off, encoding over 300 movies for the Walt Disney Company, and I helped improve their encoding and helped did some R&D for them, and kind of did a number of sort of technical things that aren't always that fun, but it was a good opportunity, and I learned a lot doing that as well, because I had a parallel career in DVD back when we were doing all the shows back in the early 2000s and everything.
Right.
I was working for Sony Pictures in the DVD center, so I had kind of a background already in digital video and studio distribution and all that, and home video. So I was already familiar with it, and that kind of. But if I hadn't done Boris and I hadn't done the CNN shows and all the videos that I've done with them, I wouldn't have been as savvy and as aware of streaming video and where the industry was. And so when I got that Disney job, I was able to really use it to the best. And I remember sitting in the lobby, after having been unemployed for a while. And by the way, when you're not employed for a while and you go back to work, that's an interesting transition. There are certain things you cannot do in public.
That's true. You can in private, but just not in public.
And I was sitting in the lobby and I was thinking, I'm not going to leave. And I was there I was supposed to go there only for a few weeks, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to find out how to stay in this building and stay at this job. Mm-hmm. And I made an effort to, listen and learn, and then get to know as many people as I could. And at the time, I ended up getting an opportunity to pitch some shows to them, and they knew about Boris and found that interesting, and found our story about it interesting. Mm-hmm. The fact that we did it for as little as we did, and what we were able to accomplish. And then now, years later, I now work as a consultant for a company called Kaltura, who actually sponsors my other show, I Went to Film School So You Don't Have to.
Great.
They're my sponsor for that. They have a big thing next week called the Kaltura Connect. They have a big conference in New York. I'm not going to be at it this year, but I've spoke at it the last 2 years. But I've been able to now I help major studios and multimedia companies with their streaming video needs and advise them on that and help educate people and at the same time I keep producing content and we have a new show that Tony has a part in coming out soon called Wicked Widgets, which isn't online yet. It's but we shot basically a pilot. It's a 22-minute show that we're going to put online and certainly submit to festivals and things and that's actually just kind of me making fun of this IT side of the world that I've been in with streaming video. And I call it an information technology comedy because it's about a software company that makes widgets for online.
Right.
If you go on to a website and you vote for something, that's a widget. That's what a widget is.
Okay.
So it's a programming term. And this company is they have these web conferences and the web conferences always go awry. And you find out eventually the slogan of the company is called Wicked Widgets. It's not magic, it's just good code. But it actually is magic.
It actually is magic.
They're all magical. They have magical powers, and they use magic to solve all the problems of the internet.
Yeah.
And it's quite fun.
It's because there is a moment I think to this day it just makes me laugh because of where you put me.
Yeah. Well, your character is on a web conference, and he's the chief technology officer of the company. And he's also a sorcerer, you find out.
Yeah.
And he's on this web conference. He's on the toilet.
Yeah.
He's sitting on the toilet talking into a tablet the entire time. It's funny as all get out. Sarah Barton has a great part in it.
Oh God, she's wonderful.
she's so funny. I can't wait people to see her in this. My wife is the lead project manager.
Right.
And Jennifer Emily McLean, and she's funny as hell.
The one trying to hold everybody together.
Trying to hold everything together, trying to keep it going. And her character is pregnant at the time. She was really pregnant in real life.
Yes.
In fact, we just had our daughter.
So she's
8
a
months
method
ago.
actor as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it.
She wasn't as pregnant as we portray her in the show, but she was pregnant, and it was a lot of fun. So I look forward to that coming out soon and entertaining people.
I'm
thinking we're going to take a little break here, do
Yeah.
do a few more commercials, and then we're going to come back, talk to David some more, and close out the night and
talk a little bit about movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
let's-
entertainment and stuff.
Let's take a little break. We'll see you on the flip side.
Right on.
Seeking a home for your website and require managed services? What are managed services? You need to make a change to your website but don't know how to do it? Don't have a content management system installed or don't understand how to use it? Managed hosting is the way to go. With XMLA Managed Website Hosting, you just email us or give us a call and we will update your website for you. Packages start at only $24.95 per month, and it's only $5 for each additional gigabyte of space, and you can host and serve your site on a fast, reliable platform with complete control. Visit xmlahost.com for complete information.
Don't forget to subscribe to our iTunes podcast. Simply visit our shows page and select your favorite show or search for your favorite show in iTunes.
Katori Magazine has been reborn. New articles, new features for those who demand to stay on top with what you care about. Music, art, politics. KatoriMagazine.com. A different kind of magazine for a different kind of generation. Katori Magazine.
You can now hear this show on multiple stations around the world. Thank you to our many partner stations and syndicates.
Gold Rat Tooth Urban Apparel. There's nothing cheesy about our gear. Shirts, hoodies, beanies. Visit us at goldrattooth.com or stop by Karma Loop and visit our online store. Gold Rat Tooth. Don't bite the cheese that feeds.
All right, we are back with Drinks at Sunset with
The
Wise
Wise
Guys.
Guys.
I'm J. Anthony McCarthy.
I'm still Steve Sabo.
And David Cronmiller. We're still here with you.
Yeah, I'm still in between the two of you.
That's fantastic. There's a couple of things that came up because we were talking about some of the stuff that led you to the job that you have right now.
Yeah.
But you don't. You're a new dad. You
don't sit idly by. You're on the move, buddy.
Yeah.
No.
You're creating stuff all the time. And it's to this day I'm still very pleased that I saved your life.
That's true. You did save my life.
So that you were able to do some of the things that you're doing right now. But one of the things that I didn't get to see because of my health problems and everything. This is your second or third
So it was my second just past.
Stand up.
Yeah, doing stand up comedy
at
now.
Flappers.
At Flappers Comedy in Burbank. Yeah.
Nice.
Which is
nice.
a real comedy club.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
it's-
just an
it's-
open mic somewhere.
So
No, it's
walk
great.
us through this process, okay? You obviously at some point say, hey, I can do that, or
Yeah.
what? I'm going to do that.
I want to do that.
Or
You know,
I
when you're
wanna do
slightly-
that.
When you're a little bit of a narcissist, you
Yeah.
kind of go. I mean, I do have a show about with me.
But so what I mean by walk me through the process is, okay, go from that step to where you are now is, you obviously have to write something
Yeah.
or have something that you want to say. You also have to, at some point, get somebody to say, okay, you can go up or get on that list. And then you have to then do it.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, you're not a stand-up. Okay?
No, you're
but you've
not.
got to get up there on stage and actually make sense or communicate. So walk us through that process. How did it work for you?
Well, 15, 20 years ago, I remember really bothering.
We're going back to a 5,000 watch radio station.
at the beginning of
Ted
time.
Knight story.
No, it's something I've
right,
been
boys
I've been
and
sort
girls.
of
We only have 5 minutes. No,
thinking
go.
about. I've been thinking about doing it for a long time. I had been,
Go ahead.
I had been thinking about doing stand up for a long time because I used to, you're one of those guys who tries to make people laugh at the office and that kind of thing.
I'm with you.
It's true.
I have a hard
That's the
time
reason why
not
I'm asking.
thinking about how something's funny when I'm in the middle of a conversation. It kind of gets me in trouble once in a while. And I just was scared to do it. And I eventually, like after the birth of my daughter, it just became less of a frightening idea. And my wife kind of kept pushing me to do it. And I thought, okay, I'll go do it.
Your wife pushed you.
Yeah,
Okay.
my wife pushed me.
Fair
you know,
enough.
she-
She's very supportive. She's a pretty
incredibly
spectacular
supportive,
woman.
very
man.
supportive. And so I decided finally to go do it. And the process is, what's great about stand-up comedy is there's actually a career path. There's a very clear career path you take.
Okay.
Unlike all the other areas of entertainment, and it's the same pretty much in every comedy club. You go in, they have open mics where you can practice your material. They have open mic auditions. So the Flappers, the way they work is they have an actual open mic audition where you go and audition for the people who do the booking. And it's a show that people can come and see. People can come and watch it. I think it's Wednesdays and Thursdays at 6 to 7:30. And some people are good. Some people are still working out their material. And,
What type of
and I went and did it.
audience do you have? Do you have 5 people, 50 people?
Not a lot of people. I mean, I'm not selling out arenas yet.
No, I'm talking about
for the audition.
For the audition, yeah.
Anywhere from about 20. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
about
it's
20.
not just the people that work there. You actually have
No,
an
there's
audience.
people who work there. Then there's other comedians who are there. It's
Right.
the comedians are really it's a great culture and it's a great
Like
community. Like improv, and everyone's really supportive, and we're all kind of there for each other. And
Right.
so you audition, and then they call you like 2 weeks later and say, "Hey, do you want to do?" This is how it's worked for me anyway. Hey, do you want to do a show? And I'm like, "Yeah." And they put you into one of their shows. And if you're new at it, they have some shows that they kind of try you out in. My
Okay.
first show, I had 3 minutes, and then the second show I just did, I had 5 minutes.
Nice.
And I'm going to keep on doing it and keep on. But it's a nice career path because and they're all about the same. You do an audition, like an open mic kind of audition.
Right.
Comedy Store's the same way. And then they start testing you out in their various venues and their various shows. And then eventually, once you have enough material and enough confidence in you and a following, then they'll give you those coveted Friday and Saturday shows, an opening for somebody, and then eventually, hopefully, you can do it. On a
Headline
bigger
yourself
scale,
at some
yeah.
point. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
but it's been fantastic. I'll be honest; it's like the most comfortable I've been in my life doing
Really?
anything new. It's like I don't know why, but I have no real. It doesn't stress me out. I feel prepared. My stuff is all right now about being a new father and the challenges. Like trying to have sex with your wife when you have a baby. How does that happen? That's what my last set was about. When you're trying to have sex with your wife and your cat's trying to wake up your baby because the cat's passive aggressive and is angry that you've brought this other thing into the home, and it knows how how that baby came to be, so it's going to interrupt that process as much as it can. So that's like my last set was about that, and then having my wife taking her to a transvaginal ultrasound and how that's somewhat kinky, and you're like, should I leave the room? Should I let the nurse and my wife alone here? Or no, I should stay. I should stay in here and watch this. This is maybe the closest thing I'm ever getting to a threesome.
Pull
so.
out that Canon camera.
And yeah. So like that's what I'm doing now, and I work out my material. I just rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it and work at it. So it's this kind of part of my muscle memory by the time I even audition. I don't do off the cuff stuff yet, really. I'm not an observational guy when it comes to it. Not yet. I think that takes a little bit more time and time on the boards and in front of the people and who are watching you. This last time I finally was able to interact with the audience a little bit more, but it's great. It's a fantastic thing. And I hope some people can come and see the show sometime.
I'm planning on it this next time. I had a real excuse this last
time.
No,
yeah, you were in the hospital.
I was in the hospital.
So when you come, when your next show?
I don't have anything at the moment on the books, but I will be at Flappers off and on next week.
Okay.
Doing various open mics, working out some new material, and
can they find your information out on your Facebook page?
On my website, which I actually didn't give you guys, is davidpcronmiller.com.
Okay.
It's just my name.com. And on there I have updates about anything I'm doing, any other projects I'm working on, including, the stand-up stuff's brand new for me. It's only a few months old, so I'm still kind of trying to bring it in. David P. Cronmiller, not
with
Drummiller,
a K.
not Drumpler.
With a K, yes.
Kronmiller.
There we go.
There we are. I'm the fourth. Wow, I'm after Chrysler.
Yeah.
Who the hell's Chrysler?
Chrysler.
David P. Chrysler.
Yes.
He did a building in New York. I mean, you've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow,
so on there you can
fantastic.
see there's updates. I don't have a comedy page just yet. I have one kind of up, but it's just temporary because it's all brand new, but it's fun and I love it.
That's fantastic.
It's been wonderful.
I'm glad to hear that.
They're laughing, so that's nice.
That's a big deal.
It's huge.
That's a.
It's instant gratification. If you're not doing well.
Right.
Yeah.
You know if they don't like you, they don't
if
connecting you
they're-
because
yeah,
they'll just stare at you and go, and they will just stare at you.
That's right.
And go like, he's not funny.
Yeah.
Give
One
us
of
a real
the main reasons I've never tried stand up. I'm a good comic actor.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a good, solid comic actor. I would be a terrible stand up. I'd get pissed off. I'd be out in the audience like, you see what I'm doing up here? I'm laying my life on the line in front of you guys, and you're judging me. Fuck you.
It is. Some people
kick your ass.
Some people get really therapeutic with it. Like they
Yeah.
go up there and they just want to like talk about the problems in their life, and you're like, oh my god, this person needs medical help.
You need to be with
It's funny in a tragic way,
psychiatrist and on some Ambien or something.
Yeah.
Really. So, good God, lithium. Excuse me. That's what the word I wanted to. So, but it's one of those things. It's like I always feel mildly awkward saying this to anybody else, but I'm really proud of you for doing it, getting it, because it is scary.
Yeah, no,
it is freaking scary because it's just you and the microphone in front of a whole bunch of people.
What takes the fear away, and this is not something I knew until I did it, because you're leading up to it, you're a little nervous. I got to the club the first time for the audition, and I was like, I got there, and they're like, you should have been here a little earlier. I'm like, oh, I can come back, I can leave and come back some other day. I don't have to do it today because I was nervous at first. And then I'm sitting and they said, no, we can fit you in. I'm like, oh, damn it. So then I'm sitting in the house and I'm waiting to be called up, and I'm just going through my material and I'm watching the other comics. And I'm going, well, some of them are good, some of them aren't. Okay, that took a little bit of the fear away because everybody bombs and everybody's trying out stuff.
Right.
And they're very supportive. And then when I got up there, the thing that takes all the fear away, or at least for me it does, is the ticking clock. You have 3 minutes for your audition and not a second more, really. They'll cut you off.
Right.
And when you're doing a show, you have 3 minutes to 5 minutes, and they want you to stay on that time because you're trying to be nice to the other comedians, and it's a show, and it's a paid show for people. So you don't have a lot of time to worry about yourself. And
you got to get up there and
you got to get up and do it, and just got to get right into it. It's
now. Is there an actual clock in the back that you can see how much time you have, or
Sometimes.
you just got to wing it?
Sometimes, there's a clock. There's somebody with a light that'll flash at you.
Yeah.
There's a stage manager or somebody running the lights and sound who will have some kind of light that'll flash. They'll say, hey, there's only a minute left, and wrap it up. And then I usually go over by like 15 seconds, but I try not to.
So, and they haven't thrown a hook at you or anything?
Not
Okay,
yet.
that's
No,
good.
no,
That's
no.
good.
You don't get the guy dancing,
No.
show the Apollo.
Yeah, Sandman.
Now they keep asking me back, so it's been
That's good, man.
That's
good.
that's
Well, I
the
saw
best thing.
I saw the one tape of the first time.
Yeah, I
It
showed
was-
you. Yeah.
It was good.
Thanks.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, one of the things that's been surprising about it is they do tape them and then they put them. They allow you to be able to download them if you want to have them for your reel and if you like that set. And
Nice.
it's kind of a nice little racket. They get some money out of it.
Oh, of course.
And watching it, I'm like, oh my god, I've gained so much weight because one of the things they never tell you about having a baby, and I have a newborn daughter, not newborn anymore. She's 8 months old next week, Zooey, and she's wonderful. And one of the things they don't tell you about, they talk about baby weight when a lot, but they don't tell you it's you that gets the baby weight. You're the one that gains the weight. because you're just trying to you stay up all the time, and you're just trying to eat to stay alive and awake
Right.
and keep this little thing alive. And you don't really notice after a while that you're like, oh, I'm turning into an actual Papa Bear. I'm turning into a large mammal.
Yeah.
So that was surprising to see on my tape. I'm like, I need to trim up.
Yeah.
Thinking of starting to do a workout in the middle of my set, so I can just have I don't have a lot of time.
That's
so.
that. Yeah, I still one of the best stories I ever heard years ago. There was a guy who was doing summer stock who, it was up in New York, and it was the spring auditions, and just that crazy, the standing in line to get your 90 seconds, and you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm J. Anthony McCarthy, and I'll be doing Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah,
and you've got the 90 seconds, and boom, you go. This guy was just so sick of the whole process and himself and everything else. And he was a little crazy, and he walked in the door. He's like, hi, and I don't remember his name. This is an apocryphal story. Hi, my name is Mike Jones, and I'll be doing push-ups. And he got down on the floor, and he did push-ups for the entire, 60 to 90 seconds, got up, said, thank you very much, and walked out.
You got to fit in the exercise where you can.
So... Oh, I'm really glad, man. That's
Thank you for saving my life all those years ago.
Oh yeah,
my dad did not get that job, by the way. He did not get that gig.
Yeah.
But anyway, tell me, I got to hear the story. How did you save David P. Cromweller's life?
We were filming season 3 of Boris. We were sitting, and you had just gotten a chance to eat. You hadn't had a chance to eat all day. And somebody, I think your wife, had cooked some really delicious chili.
She made some great chili for the cast and crew, and the cast and crew, us.
And it's really funny because we're sitting there, and you talk fast,
very fast, yeah.
But you take pauses sometimes as you form your thoughts and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I'm not really paying direct attention to you. We're sitting around a table, and and he's saying something, and then there's just this pause, and I'm like, so go on. Kind of like
giving notes or something.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the rest of it, and I'm like, what's going on? And I look, and your face is turning red, and you're like pointing to your throat.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, he's choking. He can't breathe,
or speak.
Your wife and I recognized it at the exact same time, but I got to you first, and I grabbed you, and I did the Heimlich.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did it too many times because you're like, oh. You were trying to tell me, no, it's gone, but I kept squeezing the air out of you because I was scared. I didn't want to lose you. I was like,
I appreciate that you didn't want to die that day.
You guys didn't smoke afterwards, did you?
No,
because he did it too many times. Yeah.
It was weird that he grabbed me face to face for the Heimlich. That was weird. I thought that was an odd choice, but it worked. But yeah, some meat from the chili went down the wrong pipe. I almost died.
Yep, and so
that was season 3. So
that was season 3. So
you see season 3, there'll be a scene in an interrogation room with Tony, and that's right where I almost died.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So
good.
I'm teasing. You would have been okay. We would have gotten one of you. Somebody would have fixed you, but I was the first one. I was the first one there in this case. So, yeah. But it was funny because I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, you
grabbed you
up,
and literally picked you up in the air so I could get my get that fist in place and just pop. And then I'm like, I can't. Is he breathing? I can't tell if he's breathing. I don't know if he's breathing. And like you were trying to tell me, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I kept squeezing the air out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great rectal Heimlich.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Very, very weird. You went that way.
Anyway.
Anyways, well, hey, Tony, you said you did get a chance.
I finally got to go out to a movie today.
Out to a movie, and you saw the X-Men.
Oh, no.
Days of... What?
No, I didn't get to see that.
Okay, yeah, don't ruin that.
I wanted to go see that, but my friend...
Oh, you went out and saw Edge of Tomorrow,
no,
the one we talked about last week.
My friend who was driving me had already seen that, so we didn't go that. So.
You went out and saw Maleficent.
No, because neither one of us were interested in that.
Right?
No, Maleficent.
Yeah, that's
okay.
There you go. Okay.
But Maleficent is pretty funny. I like that, so...
then you must have went out and saw Godzilla.
No, I'm not really interested in Godzilla. I'm going to watch it sometime.
Oh, okay. So what did you go out and see?
Went and saw A Million Ways to Die in the West, Seth MacFarlane's new film.
You did go out and see it.
Yeah.
And?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was pretty much what I expected. It was infantile. It was gross.
Great.
It was ridiculously violent in a cartoonish way. Your friend, Mr. Belding, what's his
Dennis Haskins.
Dennis Haskins
gets gored by a bull.
Gets just destroyed in the movie in a hysterical moment. It was fun. It was ridiculously fun. And
4 weeks out.
Yeah.
It's done 185 mil. cost 160 to make.
No kidding.
This is domestic, so I don't know what it's done
Overseas or anything like
overseas.
that.
But 185, that's not bad.
So
for
Really?
they've
Is it
already-
185?
Yeah.
So they've already made their money back.
It only
at this
cost
point.
40 to 60 million, is from what I remember.
Wait a minute.
Shows the right one?
wait.
I had a whole blog on this on streaming.net about the budget.
Because Million Ways to Die in the West just came out like last week, I think. So it's only been out.
I must have wrote down the
A
wrong
week or
numbers.
two
I'm
ago.
sorry.
Yeah, it was like 40 to 60 million it cost to make, and it only made 17 million. I know this stuff.
Yeah, that's
17 million the first weekend. I don't know how it did last weekend.
Don't know,
but
but-
I think it also went international too. So.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyable though. It's ridiculous. And there was a moment in the film, and I'm not going to give anything away. All I'm going to say is there was a piece of physical humor that was performed by Neil Patrick Harris. That was it was really disgusting. Not what he did, but what was going on. And when I got done, I was sitting there going, I think out of all the actors in the world and everybody else, only Neil Patrick Harris in that moment could have made it funny because it was hysterical. When you see the movie, people who are going to go see the movie and everything else, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
What? The French tickler?
No, no, that's not it. But it was just if you're ready for something, if you're ready
It's
for
fun. It's a
a
fun
live
movie.
action Family Guy with Seth MacFarlane at his little boy grin best, that's what you get. So-
And I hear it's like shot beautifully too.
oh, it's gorgeous.
Well, the big movie for the week,
New Mexico.
opening this last weekend was The Fault in the Stars, did 48 mil, and beat out Edge of Tomorrow, which did 28.7.
So weird.
So I would
Yeah.
have thought the Tom Cruise movie would have opened bigger, but
And had great
eh.
reviews too. Edge of
Yeah.
Tomorrow's gotten like amazing
Yeah,
reviews.
so
for
I
Tom
think it's going to
Cruise.
do. I think it's going to do good.
It's
good
gonna be
this week.
fine,
Yeah,
so.
it's going to be fine.
I think we're getting close to the end here, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of time.
Okay. Well, we'll keep going on this then.
Full
So-
moon. Anybody have a problem with the full moon? The honeydew moon? or
Is that what
whatever
it
it's
is out
called?
there?
Yeah.
No, it made
It's
it.
a- it's a-
like
it's a-
night, I had a lot of like light tonight. On the
And
night.
tomorrow
gorgeous.
is Friday the 13th.
Right.
Now, you guys superstitious?
Yeah.
I'm mildly superstitious, but my background is part Italian, and I've always been led to understand that 13 is supposed to be a lucky number in Italy. So, yeah, that's the way I take it.
Auditions, do you do the same thing over and over? I mean, do you prepare the same way? Are you superstitious?
I-
you wear the same clothes or the lucky socks?
No.
The favorite underwear?
Nope.
I used to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Not me. That's not it. I just
What
make
about
sure I'm
sports?
prepared when I go in.
sit on the same side of the couch when you watch?
Do you have troll dolls? You need to shake and blow.
Wear the same hat?
Nah,
fuzzy
nah,
dice,
I don't,
fuzzy
I don't really
dice.
do that. you know.
Drink 3 beers before you go in? Or?
No.
Man, I must be really superstitious. I do all of those. But Friday the 13th, so
Yeah.
look out,
So
people.
people, just
And
be
and-
aware, drive safe, and take care of each other.
and watch where you're stepping.
Yeah.
And speaking of power, because we were talking a lot about who has the power. Okay, as a comic, you have power. You command the room. Well, there's power couples. And what would you say would be one of your a big time power couple?
Well, of course, you're going to go with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Okay,
Yeah.
how about you? What would you say?
I'd say that, those two. I can't think of who
Kanye
else?
West and
Yeah, I can't
Kim
take-
Kardashian,
you
but
know.
I just
No.
don't
I'm
wanna-
Yeah,
talking
that's-
about power.
I don't want
couples.
to give them
Power.
credit. Yeah.
How about Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio?
DiMaggio,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a pretty big power. That's
Yeah,
that's old
power
school.
couple.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Well, the new power couple, Aaron Rodgers, Olivia Munn.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh.
I thought
on the set of was it Newsroom or
he's not.
Was it?
Oh, yeah?
I thought he was married. No.
They were caught kissing. It's been rumored they were linked. It's confirmed.
Oh, wow.
No, she's great.
The new power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be a good power couple.
Yeah.
Well,
Holy
on
mackerel.
that happy note, what do you say we wrap this up?
All right, let's wrap it up. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is
This was the summer season.
spring summer season. Probably our last cast. We might be able to have a bonus cast next week. Depends upon if we can get a guest. If not, this was it, and we'll see you guys in September. And we want to say thanks for listening to Drinks at Sunset with
The
Wise Guys. David, thanks for coming in today, man. Appreciate it. All right,
pleasure, guys.
take care, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on Drinks at Sunset with the Wise Guys. That's all the great original entertainment we have for you tonight. Join us next week for more original entertainment. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming.
was, how do they say, sidekick for many years. Now, others are coming to me for the answers.
You're in trouble, aren't you?
I'm being framed, I think.
We are here to protect you. That's what I heard them say.
Where are we going? What are we doing? Who are we saving?
My little sister. She's been kidnapped from her dance troupe.
Would you like to come along with us?
I'd like that.
Asshole! Peter, no! Stop! You know what is so dangerous about standing on the edge of the wall?
Imagine trying not to fall off.
Trying to keep from jumping.
It would do me good to kill this man.
Imagine me, a hero.